we live now? Yes. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I thought I was live for the last 8 minutes, but apparently it wasn't live. So, okay then. So basically, let me start again. So this morning I had this sell, and I marked this as a H1 breakout, which is a confirmation to H4 low risk setup. Price didn't reach there, and then it gave us a setup. Let me explain why I marked that first. So if you watched them, it was your day in the morning, you will notice that at the end of the live session, I went to Saxo and I found out that Saxo chart was different to Oranda. Oranda had a H4 break to upside here, where Saxo didn't. So what we had was break to the upside, so break to the downside H4, H1 break to the upside, which is a pullback, and then we had a confirmation break to the downside here. So this is a phase 3 setup, and then which I explained that why I took this sell. The M5 setup after the confirmation, which didn't quite give me 2 to 1, give me 1 to 1, close partial, move to break even, got stop out break even. Then you give me a M15, after that M15 pullback, and then give me M5 confirmation with the RSI as an extra confluence. And after that, you also give me a resistant form, and then eventually, when a few times after, I give it M50 breakout as well, so that will confirm this setup to make it even stronger. Because now, from being a high risk, now it become a low risk, because originally it was an M5 confirmation, but now it's an M50 confirmation. So you got M30 break to the downside, M15 to the upside, now M30, M15 to the downside confirmation. So which is why we took that sell 2 to 1 with that hit target, but like I said, I was asleep. I didn't catch this sell here. However, I did say the price would drop, and I want to come up here to the origin of the breakout, the H1. But sometimes, it doesn't always reach there. But if we follow our cycle and our breakout, pullback, and confirmation, you could have, caught this sell here. And again, you could have caught another one here. So what's our target? Our target would be after this has already been tapped into. I'm expecting to come here now as my target. This is the next roll block. So while price was breaking through this first roll block, because we had a daily to a downside and a set of form, I said on Wednesday it would break through this. This would be our next roll block. And now it's tapped out. Now break to downside. This would be the final roll block. Well, not final, but next roll block that price is I'm looking for to get to. So if we're looking at price now, all I can say is we're gonna have to wait for a pullback. We're not gonna come in and chase this being formal. So if there's any setup that we can get into, which London closed now, waiting for New York, so would price take the low of London and give a pullback for New York to continue? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of price action, CMP, but if you look at M1, you got pullback M1, confirmation, would have got your stop power if you enter, because your stop loss would be just above this high that went up further up on above it. This is why I don't take M1 setup, even though I explained in not this morning's live, the yesterday live, we missed that big run down because it didn't give us any setup apart from M1. I think it's when was it? Where did that come? Was it a buy? Was it a sell? I think it was a sell. We had a lot of M1 setup, but I didn't take it. Just my minimum setup is M5 really. So yeah, it was a drop. This drop down here, and so that's what I mean. Like sticking to my rules. If I didn't and I took this, I would have got stopped out. Um, so we just wait for M5 pullback and M5 and then continue. Or if not, take this low and see if we break it upside for pullback. Let's see if we got any level that we can mark for scalping while we wait for that. Go past that level. This level. Please explain your last trade. Yes, sure. Okay, thanks for asking the question and welcome. Sorry, I did just read the question now. So, why is this bear? Yeah, why is it bear? Daily bear breakout from up here. Well, the original breakout was here, yeah. And then what price is if I mark the original pullback, because why it is a pullback? If this is a bear breakout, yeah, on a daily, I have to look what's that to the weekly. So when you check the weekly, and the weekly recent was a buy breakout here. This one has not counted yet, because this candle has not closed yet. You want the candle to close before you confirm it's a bear or a buy breakout. So that daily was a pullback. Yeah, so now price come back up, and then we come here, didn't close above it, and then come down and do another bear breakout. So this is what I call a reject pullback, a reject VR. Yeah. So once that game reject, I'm confident that it's gonna sold from here. So we had a continuous breakout, which I explained on Wednesday. Wednesday, what I was doing live, that if you watch my previous live channel, that if we break this roadblock, I'll call it roadblock, then the next target will be here. And then it did that on Thursday, and now even though we're bear, it gave you a pullback. But what is that pullback? Um, what is this pullback? Is this a buy breakout or H4, H1? Because I'm an intraday trader, so I follow H1 and H4 kind of like direction. So now we check on H4. We have bear breakout. So this tap here and gave a pullback. Gave a H1 break to upside. Is this a pullback to H4, right? So I had caught a few buy here, and then on yesterday morning we had a sell breakout here, which is to me it's a confirmation. And it's a low risk. Why is it low risk? Because we had a H4 break to the downside, H1 pullback, and H1 confirmation. Yeah. So after that confirmation, I know I'm on phase 3, which I explain what is my A plus setup. My A plus setup is basically H1 and H4 in line in terms of direction. So H1 now is bear, H4 is bear, so they're both in line. So once this candle closed, I check for low time frame setup. So my first entry, which my only entry, because I didn't took the entry, I was asleep. I was just marking to show you how we could have got that if we were there doing live. So anyway, M5 pullback, No, sorry, after this candle close, this line here is where the candle closed. So M5 pullback, M5 confirmation. Take the trade on the candle close, 2 to 1. Uh, Close partial at 1 to 1, move to break even, got stop out break even. And now we check on, because obviously this M5 setup is done. You can see the price gone up, so obviously you would look for high time frame, see what kind of pullback you give. So you look at high time frame here, M15 pullback, and then did you M30 pullback? Not quite yet, until this to me is, I know it closed above it, is not a valid pullback. Why this bit more advanced? Because it's not an EG breakout. I only go for EG breakout, and obviously for it to be an EG breakout, it's gonna candle's gotta close above this wick here. So it was only M15 pullback. So if that M15 pullback, we look at, okay, what's that to the M30? Obviously, it's a pullback to the M30. The M30 was a bearish break here. So M15 pullback here. And then as price come up, before this give us a confirmation, low risk, it gave us an M5 break to a downside here. So this happened before the M15 happened. And then I have my other confirmations as well, with the RSI, with the level being created, a resistance level, and then on top of that, 1 or 2 kind of after, it closed as a M15 bear breakout. So that would also give you more confirmation of the setup. So you would enter on a candle close at M5, stop loss above the high just to be safe. Normally you can go above there, but because price never mitigate this engulfing candle, or the block, or however you want to call it, you would put stop loss above the high, just give it some breathing space, 2 to 1. I always tend to go for 2 to 1, and then leave it winner. Normally I would leave it winner because the direction was sell, and then that would be your sell setup. Does that make sense? This is in terms of the concept of BPE breakout, pullback, and entry after the confirmation. So it's obviously, it's not, there's certain things you gotta consider, in terms of time frame, what kind of breakout is it, etc. But in my live stream I did this morning, 10 o'clock, just for fun of it, because I was just finished work and just had some time, so I look at the chart. I had this marked because I was thinking price would come up here actually, because this is the origin breakout of the H1 breakout. And another section mark here as well. I can't remember where it was actually. Let's see. Must be a hidden base. Okay, it falls. Come on, there you go. Yes, I had this mark as well, this level mark. So price went above that, wick above that, and then didn't tap into H1. I got a problem entering in lower time frame. Okay, just follow the cycle. I mean, like for me, what I do is, my kind of setup is A plus setup, which is gonna be phase 1 or phase 3. What I mean by that. So let's do some bit more education while we wait for setup, because we haven't. So low risk is always one time frame lower on the confirmation to the breakout. So say this was H4 breakout, H1 pullback, H1 confirmation. So that one H1 is one time frame lower than that, right? And they're both in line with each other, right? Now H1 is a buy and H4 is a buy, so they're both in line. So once you got that, I'm looking for low time frame setup now. Like I said, the low time frame for you would be M5, M15. So if M5 gave me a pullback, confirmation, then I can take that trade, knowing that the the wall block, if there's no wall block down here, is up there. There's good range to trade to, and also consider what kind of breakout is once a confirmation happened. What kind of confirmation it give you? Did it give you an EG breakout? Did it give you a two breakout? EFEG breakout. Things like that. So them are the things that can make your setup a bit more high possibility. Be better, more likely to hit TP. So this is one of the way where you can enter on a low time frame, knowing that your high time frame is in line with your low time frame setup. So in some sense, you got H4 buy, H1 buy, and whatever's M5, M15 buy. Does that make sense? So you got now you got three time frame buy, but this is only two cycle, two cycles. So you got H1, so H4, H1, H1. That's complete, one cycle complete. Then if this is M5 pullback, then your setup will be M15 because the setup, the pullback is always one time frame lower than your breakout. So if this is M5 pullback, your setup is M15. So it would be M15, M5, M5. So now you got two cycles. You got H4 cycle and you got the M15 cycle. So that is one of the way we enter. Or another way is what I consider as a phase one setup. Why this phase one? Because this H4, H1, H4 breakout, then a H1, then another continuous breakout, then you got a low time frame setup. I will take this setup. Why? Because this again, H4 to buy, H1 buy, and whatever setup and time frame that's a buy as well. So that's free. The only difference is that it did not give you a pullback and a confirmation on the high time frame like this. This is why this is called phase three setup. This is phase one, phase two, phase three on high time frame. But this one is just a phase one, and then continuous breakout on H1 and whatnot, and low time frame setup. So this is the two setup that I look for what I call A plus or A setup that I tend to go for. Obviously, there's other setup that I consider as well, like a pullback setup, phase two setup, but that's a bit more advanced. You just want to go for this A plus setup for now if you're not really too sure on BPE. Um, and obviously, there's certain criteria you got to look for, like I said, time frame sequence. What do I mean by that? I mean like time frame sequence where price will fly if we give you time frame sequence as in like this. This is H4, H1, H1, M30, M30. So there's no jump between the time frame where if you had a H4, H1, H1, M5, M5, you miss that M50 and M30. Understand? So your TP here will be at this level, the first row block, take partial because you don't want to close all your trade because your H1 and H4 is in the same direction. So just take partial 70%, 80%, and leave 20% runner maybe. And see it continue. But if you had a H4 and H1 and H1 M30, M30, you can expect price to get there or break that and then continue. So your first TP would be here, not here, would be here, and then let them maybe take partial and leave a winner. Did that kind of help you explain a bit about your low time frame setup? I mean, M1 does happen, but I try not to do. Well, I don't do M1. I don't take M1 setup. The lowest confirmation is probably M5 setup. So I hope that help. Um, but now it's like right now you got M1 set up here. We're selling right, and we're looking like overall target is down here, right? In terms of high time frame target, because this is already been tapped, so I'm expecting this to be tapped if price continues to come lower. So from then on, I'll probably look for sell setup only unless you give me a certain like a high time frame breakout to upside. Example, hit a strong roadblock like this kind of roadblock. This here was the start of the move from hitting this roadblock. Also, this happened in London. So the big boys, the bankers from in London, down London is start this move. So when price hit there, do they want to defend it? So there would be a certain reaction from there in that sense. So I would mark this here, just some kind of level that I can consider when price get there. And if you go down there and give me a certain price action, then I can take a scalp buy. Why is it a scalp buy? Because on the high time frame, it's all sell, right? All sell, look, sell. So, and here's what I mean by N1 setup is you look at this, you got N1 pullback, N1 confirmation, you would have hit stop loss because price. If you entered that one, you would have put it on the candle close above the high, this last high here, and then just green candle stop out. This is why I don't take M1 setup, because in terms of back testing, the win rate is not as good. I mean, there's a time where it did work, like the other day on the sell. I was in doing a live trade and just give me M1 setup, but I didn't take it because, like I said, the lowest I go is M5. But if I did take it, it looked like it had about 500-600 pips. The key piece is for A and V peg when you have something is for okay. So I explained that in the morning example. If you look at M15 for example, you notice that if you mark in the movement of this run down, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, something like that, yeah. And at every point that I marked in terms of this point is a V and a apex, right? Do you know what I mean? Look, that's a V, that's a V, A, V, A. So when you have a CF, like example, this is why this setup was good, because when the M5 CF form, when I look at M15, it had a resistance. So yeah, so that is what I mean by um, if you give you a CF and you form an SNR level, that's an extra confluence, and I'll give you a high possibility setup, because you look at anywhere on the chart, that's where you're most likely to start the run any time frame, where you have V, sorry, A, V, A, V, A, V. So even the next setup here, with this M5 breakout, already M15 already gave me a resistance. Does that make sense? So it's if you look in terms of like each leg, each swing, it's turn around from obviously start from an A or V, right? So did that make sense? I don't know if I explained that too well, but I hope that makes sense. Either a SNN level happen before or after, it doesn't matter, you know. It doesn't matter. So let's look at this setup here. So we had okay, this H1. Okay, no. So H4 is really break it down. So no, not yet. So we had a continuous. Let's go. So since I went to London Open, now it's snowing away. That's good, awesome. So we had I put a candle here. I mean, put a line here. Why this? We had a recent breakout. Yeah. So now this candle doesn't really mean nothing. Then you have a one opposite candle, which is a doji. So it doesn't really show us buy or sell. Anyway, you have this one opposite candle. So when you have the opposite candle, you jump time frame lower to see if you got any pullback. Okay, so now you have a pullback on M15. And obviously that is a pullback to M30. M30 was sell. Let's see if we got a pullback at M5. So you have a pullback at M5 here, but you have to see where the candle close. See where the candle close. Okay, so you have a pullback and a confirmation, then a confirmation. So you would have got stop loss here in terms of like if you enter on this setup, and I probably would enter there. Why? Because no, I wouldn't. Because why is you wanna? Here's another piece of advice. Every CF, every confirmation that you have, make sure it's coming from a roadblock. Does that make sense? So you want a roadblock to give you an extra boost. So, and the roadblock, ideally, yeah, it can tap the wick, and that can still consider roadblock, but you want it to come to the structure, one more structure, the actual breakout. So that is the that is where your roadblock would be. This EF, you think that's roadblock, but then you look at it. Did this EF do anything any damage? Did this EG did anything damage? So you look at this candle. Did it break anything? I don't consider gaps as I don't really look at gap much. I look at VOA. It didn't break that. So to me, this EG EF is not ideal. Not ideal roadblock. You want a zone. You want a zone that give you doing some damage. Example like this here. This break this level, break that level, causes EFEG. So to me, this zone is a nice zone. So I would mark this. You understand why I mark this, right? I'll give it a reaction there. Then it break above it. Do you understand why I mark this, right? And not this. Do you understand? I feel like I've seen it somewhere. Dark Lord. Uh, are you in some kind of group time? I am in Telegram. Okay, you do. Okay, brilliant. So here I would have marked this hidden base. I like hidden base, especially when the wicks are similar size to each other. I think I got a video on my channel about how to mark zone. Yes, exactly, ISL. You got it. But if you watch, I got a video on my channel about how to mark zone, then you understand why I marked this. So it went there and then gave us buy sell breakout here. So this is where you would actually do the trade if you know look at all the criteria. That would have been your new second entry or third entry from this one down. Hope that makes sense. And then once that, let's mark that and then see if that gives us any kind of resistance. And I'll close there and 5. So yeah, give you resistance here, doji, and then if you want to wait some time, I wait. If there's no resistance here and this given resistance, I wait for this candle close first to confirm the resistance, and then when price come back, that's when I would enter. So price come back, and I would mark my entry here, and then just tap that. You know why I mark this, and then that would be my entry. If this resistance hasn't formed yet, if there's no resistance here, and this was a new resistance, I wouldn't enter on the candle close as it did here. I would wait for a new and a new this candle. I would wait for this candle to close first to form resistance, then wait for pullback. I wouldn't enter on M5 candle close here after CF. Hope that makes sense. What time is it? Okay, we've got another 10 minutes or so because it's Friday and I'm quite busy on Friday. Okay, so M5 had a pullback, but nothing concrete in terms of like roll block here until price. My next zone I'll think about would be here. So now I would read price action to see what it does. This is a decent zone itself, to be fair. So there. Let's see what price does when it get up there. Or you want to look at this kind of zone I mark. If we tap that and then give it a breakout to the downside and confirmation, I will take that setup. And now we've got a pullback, right? M5 pullback. High time frame targets down here. Where's it gone? Okay, delete them all. So next target. So see if you had a say you have an M5 confirmation now, yeah, but M50 look like this, I would not take that sell. Why? Because it's got a support level there. It has not formed a resistance yet. Does that make sense? So that to me, things like that you I have to look for. Like yeah, in the morning I was looking for buy because in Rwanda, this was Rwanda. Rwanda's different because I was checking Rwanda first on my phone when I was doing work. So Rwanda had a H4 breakthrough upside, yeah, and then so the candle closed there, and then we had a new H1 breakout to upside, yeah. So that's what patterns that. That's phase one setup, right? H4, H1. So now I'm looking for a low time frame setup. It did not give me a low time frame setup until so see there's no pullback, no pullback from here, no pullback until here. Yeah, see what I mean? No pullback, no pullback. After this kind of close, didn't break this V, V, V. Well, it could break there, but you wouldn't take that because the confirmation did not happen at a roadblock, right? And if you would have marked your range is in the, too high up, that's another thing I consider as well. In terms of premium discount. So you wouldn't take that. Then it gave you a pullback, then another confirmation, at a roadblock. Yeah. So you think, okay, that now is a setup. But then when you check on M30 and H1, what do you give you? It gives you resistant, right? Resistant, you know. And then this one it gives you support. So you think, okay, then it might give you. You gotta wait for that candle close, right? Let's see. Let's get rid of it. Let's mark it properly. Explain why I didn't take this. And then I went for sell instead. So that was that. And then when this M5 give us a confirmation, you had an M15 break to the downside. So that would also do was M15. So when you had M5 break to the downside here, I gave you a confirmation here. By then, M15 gave you bear breakout. This is why you gotta keep jumping and marking each level. So M15, no, that hasn't yet. M30, not quite yet. Okay. So M15 you bear breakout here, which would start out where start up here. Okay. So why did I take that setup? Because I know I looked at it. I was at work and looked at it and I didn't take it. Because I know it didn't seem right. It wasn't giving me a confirmation. It was down to like give me resistance and then give me this resistance. Then it gave me a support here. So when did that support happen? You pull that there. Okay. And 15. Okay, so that candle didn't close yet until here. So while this setup happened here, the H1 support didn't close yet till here. So that's why I didn't take that setup. And then he also gave me M15 break to the downside, and then an M30 break to the downside. That's M50 to the downside. Did M30 go to the downside? Yeah, well, not yet. Not quite yet. So then by then, H1 gave me break to the downside. So now I was looking for sell. Why? Because I was still on the randa. I didn't jump on too many because once MH1 gave me a bear breakout, I look at that to what's that to H4, which is a pullback to H4, right? Which is here. And then I look at is there a good distance to trade to? Another thing we gotta consider. And I noticed that there was about 300 pips if I remember right. So if I look at H1, so it's kind of close here, which is 22, 18, so over 300 pips here. So I thought, okay, I can trade that. So I just find a setup, and that's where I found my first M5 setup, which was here. But by then I didn't even look at Saxo yet. I was just looking at Rwanda. And you know, there's a difference between H4 level, H4 time frame with different broker. So the pullback, confirmation, kind of close, and I took that sell. And then I jumped onto Saxo, and I realized that H4 didn't break to the upside. It was only to the downside. So and I was entering on a phase 3 setup. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, it's coming back to that SNN SNR level after CF or before CF is formed. That's a really, really, um, really something that you should look at as well as roadblock. Just the CF happen. There's a few things to look at for CF. Once the CF happen, example like that CF. What is that CF in terms of what kind of breakout is it? Is it an EG breakout, a solid momentum breakout, um, two breakout, things like that? EF breakout. That's number one. Or two is did it tap to roadblock? Did it give an extra push? You know, and then did it form the breakout time frame SNR level or higher time frame SNR level? There's a few things. Where was the RSI? Things like that. So yeah, it wasn't meant to be a session. It was meant to be trying to look for setup, but no, obviously like this time there's no setup. I don't know why, but I tend to come in session and there's no setup. Mm. EG breakout. This is an EG breakout, isn't it? Okay. This is the breakout, right? This is a solid EG breakout. This is the one of the best breakout. That's a breakout, right, to the downside. And then is this an EG? Yeah, that's an EG, right? So it's an EG breakout, and it only takes one candle to break out to do that. So it's a solid EG breakout. That makes sense. Just look for a breakout that have two breakout, like breakout this level, breakout that level. That's two breakout, and then one time frame lower, did it give you an EFEG? So you mark here and you look at it, and did it give you EFEG? So that's a good breakout. EFEG ideally That's time frame breakout or one time frame lower. 40. I better get ready. Okay, so M5 seems to come on, nothing yet, no confirmation, didn't tap into this low block either. And if it close above here, this is what you call EF, reject VR, RVR. Why? Because if it close above there, that's the original, that's the via pullback, come to pullback, and then close above that means reject the pullback, close above it. So I would probably take a scalp there. But then I've got to be careful because you got these two roadblocks here that I consider where price might turn around. Okay, I better get ready. I'm glad. What can I say? Yeah, thanks for joining. I hope this is, even though we didn't find our setup, we missed most of the move up here. I think we had a bit of an educational session. So hope you learned something out of it. And well, it's weekend now, so I'll probably see you Monday. I'm gonna be trying doing live on Monday. And what I'm gonna do on Monday as well is I'm gonna get a profit account, and that account is what I'm gonna be doing on live stream. I'll only trading on live stream. If I take any trade outside live stream, because I only do live stream when I'm at home, because I can't do it when I'm working because I'm on my phone. But if I do that, I would place that trade onto my other account. So that new account that I buy over the weekend on Monday will be on YouTube streaming. And let's see if we can pass it. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna leave you to it. I hope you all have a great weekend, and inshallah, I'll see you next week. Take care. No problem, mate. Take care.